Okay, I think I finally understand what Diversity in Comics is talking about. So this is Tom King's Batman series, and I haven't really been reading it much. I read Batman 35 and did a review on that, which did surprisingly well for, what a small channel I have. I'm pretty sure it's because I put the word catfight in the thumbnail, which was accurate. It just, I think it helped. Right now, the ongoing storyline in Batman is that Batman and Catwoman are finally getting married. And in this story, you see Wonder Woman on the cover, so it's Wonder Woman and Batman doing something together. There's something about the secret of the eternal vow, which I didn't know what that was. Really what sold me on this issue, at least when I was initially seeing promo material about it, was this image here. This is Wonder Woman in front of the Batman light. This is Joelle Jones on art. And Joelle Jones apparently is a regular artist on the Batman series, and before this did Lady Killer for Dark Horse. And, how do I put this? I finally see what people are talking about when they say that Tom King has some kind of problem or some kind of hard time writing women, because I bought this issue because Wonder Woman was in it, and I was curious what the dynamic was going to be there. And unfortunately, Wonder Woman just does not come off feeling like Wonder Woman at all throughout the entire issue. In my Batman number 35 review, what I complained about was that that whole issue was just a one-on-one fight between Talia al Ghul and Catwoman over Bruce. So normally when two women fight each other over a man, even two women as confident and composed and level-headed as Talia and Catwoman, typically they don't really fight with any finesse. It's just pure, raw, fierce emotion more than anything else. And the issue, Batman 35, it did not have a lot of that at all. And I kind of blamed it on the art by Joelle Jones. I just thought that she might have a problem with depicting dynamism or depicting movement. The problem with that theory is this right here, Lady Killer. Since I did that review, I've read some of this. I haven't read all of it, but I mean, you could just see some of the art here. There is a lot of energy and a lot of, and when things get physical, they can get very physical. So that wasn't really the problem. The problem was that Tom King just, I don't know, he had a problem with depicting women in that really emotional way. And in Mr. Miracle, I didn't really notice it much because Scott Free has been depicted as a beta male since at least the 80s, and Big Barda is the domineering one that kind of really looked out for the family, once again, at least since the 80s, and maybe since Kirby's original run. So it doesn't really bother me, but when it's Wonder Woman, who is not one of my favorite superheroines, but is someone I have at least a lot of respect for, it comes off as much more jarring. Basically, Wonder Woman, this entire issue, for one thing, her dialogue is really off. It kind of feels like she's speaking English as a second language, which you may think, well, yeah, that's because English is a second language, but she's never depicted talking like this in any other series. In continuity, she's been in Man's World for at least 5, probably more like 10 or 15 years now, and it's depicted fairly consistently that Wonder Woman is very quick to pick up languages. And in fact, it's canon in at least some versions of her that she actually omnilingual. She can actually speak and understand all languages simultaneously. And then she also does weird things like this. So Batman is dressed up in armor here. Catwoman can't help but think she looks ridiculous. And then Wonder Woman says, "All men who try to fight look ridiculous to me. If you could all just see yourselves, all eager for battle, with the weapons, so tough. It really does not suit your gender." Wonder Woman doesn't really do that, battle of the sexes stuff much unless someone else brings it up first. She has been known to do it occasionally, but for the most part, she has enough respect for people that she doesn't. Now, I realize that her and Bruce are friends. I realize that this is just supposed to be friendly banter. I realize it's just supposed to be kind of a joke, but it still felt very off. And then there's panels like this where, she looks very attractive, but her dialogue is just so stunted and so stilted. It's just, it feels very unnatural. the plot of this issue is kind of interesting. So apparently, they mention this prior story, which I don't know where it is. They don't tell you what issue this is from, which is very frustrating because I would actually kind of like to read this, whatever this is from. Now, maybe it's completely made up. Maybe they're not actually referencing a real issue, but I'd kind of like to know what it's from, and it doesn't tell me. Even Stupid Marvel, which is very non-friendly to new readers for the most part in its current era, is getting better about that. So that was frustrating. But apparently in this prior issue, there was this guy, they just call him the Gentleman, and they found him on this sort of mystical realm, and basically he just spends all day, every day, battling the forces of sin and vice, and he's been doing it for thousands of years. Batman and Wonder Woman found him, and they helped him out a little bit, and apparently they said that if you ever need a break, just call us. This issue is about him finally calling in that favor. So this is the guy, the Gentleman, they call him, and he's spending time with Catwoman while Bruce and Diana are spending time with each other. And then this is where we find out the twist. He says that he's going to call his wife, and Catwoman is surprised. She says, wait a minute, I thought you'd been doing this for thousands of years. And he says, yes, in this realm, time passes very, very differently. So in this realm, it was thousands and thousands of years. But in our realm, in the DC universe, it was only 1 year. So when Catwoman realizes this, he's been out of this, other dimension for several hours now, which means from their perspective, it's been at least 10 years. So they've been together for 10 years. And it's always been sort of hinted that there's something between Batman and Wonder Woman, especially in the animated show. They went hard on that. And so they've been with each other for 10 years, fighting side by side, getting all sorts of, scrapes and bruises, and they apparently were not aware of the time difference. So they thought that he had literally been doing it for thousands of years, whereas it turns out he had, but only from a certain point of view. So it looks like that they may or may not be about to get together, which would mean that if they do, that Batman's going to be cheating on Catwoman, even though he didn't know that there was any way to to get back. So the story itself is kind of intriguing, but just the way that Wonder Woman comes off, she just doesn't come off like how I've ever seen Wonder Woman depicted. Between the stunted dialogue, the bad attempts at humor, it just doesn't feel at all like her. So it's very disappointing. Also, if anybody knows what issue that they're talking about here, tell me, because I do kind of want to read this. But I don't know. Tell me what you thought. Like, comment, subscribe. In any case, this is Unranked Chevron signing off.